So we're going to talk about our favorite writers. So you said writers.
Screenplay writers.
Screenplay writers. Right. That's what I thought. So William Shakespeare doesn't count.
No, he does not.
But
or like somebody who wrote the book for the movie that they
right, like Stephen King. Like he don't count.
Yeah, he don't count. Even though he has 117 movie adaptations.
Yes. And so a lot of this, there is a little gray area here because a lot of these, like even like there's a lot of directors who are also writers. And there's also directors who are co-writers of their own film. Mm-hmm. You know?
I tried to stay clear of that, but there was a couple names that I couldn't, like... There's reasons why, though. I had, like, pretty decent reasons why I had to include them.
Right. Okay. So, all right, let's talk about honorable mentions.
Well, before we do that, I think we both talked about this before. Like, we probably could have put more time into this. Me, personally, I didn't really have a computer to work on while I was down in Florida. I also just signed up for classes, and I had to do, like, a mandatory, like, online course.
Oh, what are you signing up for?
What?
You signing up for classes?
Film classes.
Oh, damn. Where are you going?
OCC.
Oh, nice.
Oakland Community College. I don't know.
Nice.
Whatever.
Say what?
It's like, it's like whatever. But I feel like the first couple, like,
here's the thing.
Intro to film, I'm just going to blast through that.
Yeah, right? Just try to make as many friends as possible, and then we can both utilize them.
That's what I'm going to try to do, dude.
Yeah.
I have such a likable personality.
Exactly.
I'm just going to stroll in there.
See, I don't. I am not a people person.
Nah, dude. But when you get to know, when they get to know you, like, you become like an instant classic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. There you go. I'm like a fine wine.
Absolutely.
And you're like tequila.
I'm just like a fucking PBR. I'm just trying to get you smashed. Yeah, so that's just a little disclaimer for this one. I know we do this. We do this all the time. We like kind of work off of each other. So hopefully that we have some stuff. It's like, oh man, that would have been really cool if I put that on there.
Yes.
So how many honorable mentions you got?
Not that many.
I have 7.
Okay, you can name like a couple. You can go 2.
Okay, so starting off, we have...
By the way, sorry to interrupt you. I'm not going to really elaborate on these honorable mentions. I'm just going to say their name.
That's fine. That's fine. I got some stuff that I wrote down. Mm-hmm. I did put a little bit of effort in this.
I did not.
So we're start off.
I was too busy making cues. Okay.
We're going to start off with 2 directors. We're going to start off with Kubrick because his improv and on-the-fly changes on the script paid off. Usually, this is the death of films when spontaneous changes occur, but in Kubrick's case, these might have been the key to success.
Yes.
Linklater, he's a great director, but his genius lies in writing. His big triumphs, such as the Before trilogy, Boyhood, Dazed and Confused, and Slacker, are all successful because incorporating real-life experience and truth have more impact than fabricating fiction. Mm-hmm. Linklater has proved no one in the 21st century can hold a candle to his slice-of-life sensibilities.
There you go. Because that was it? Okay, yeah. Billy Wilder. Because, I mean, come on.
Boy, yeah.
Come on.
I mean, that would have been a great one. I did not include him, though. Yep. Hampton Fancher, the man who wrote 2 of my favorite movies, both Blade Runners. The first Blade Runner was such a grounded tale. His golden goose was easily Roy. Small characters is where Fancher shines. Same thing with the new one, although I think it had more of an engaging and ever-changing mystery. But small characters like joy and love, for that matter, show how important human emotion can be, even in a world without humanity.
Okay.
And then I also had John Milius, which I wouldn't really consider him to be like a favorite of mine, but I watched a documentary on him with all of his like testosterone-fueled projects and whatnot, and he brought all the masculinity with him. Okay. Additionally, he worked with actors like Martin Sheen and turned him into a borderline noir character for Apocalypse Now.
Okay.
His son Charlie said before Milius, he was never capable of that kind of darkness.
Damn.
And there was actually a story of him where he was like doing the voiceovers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The monologues, and he's just like, stop. And then he comes in there and he puts a gun down and he's like, pick that up. And he's like, you like that? You like that? You feel that power? Put that into your work. Like he's like what? What?
Damn,
that is such an unconventional thing to do.
That's just fucking crazy. Damn. Okay. So I also have Kubrick.
Okay.
I also got Kubrick because he's a director. First and foremost, it was a weird just balance for me. It's like who do I consider? Because I also have the Coen brothers down here, but it's like, do I consider them more writers, directors? I mean, because they even write some films that they don't direct, like Bridge of Spies, which Steven Spielberg directed.
Yeah.
They wrote that film too, so they do write films they don't direct. So it was just too much of a headache, so I just put it at.
Yeah, I almost included them, but I was trying to find one of them that specialized in writing, one of them that specialized in directing, and it seems like I think it's Ethan. Like, is really like does more directing than he does writing, but they all kind of write the same project.
Yeah.
Like if they're doing something together, they do it together.
Mm-hmm.
They're inseparable. So yeah, that was a good choice.
Yes.
Good choice. How many more honorable mentions?
I just got like 2 or 3 more.
2 or 3 more. Well, I got 3 more. So I'm just gonna the Monty Python crew, man. Because sketch comedy has never been that good.
Terry Gilliam and John Cleese and
Terry Jones.
Terry Jones.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, good crew.
Yeah, I love Monty Python. They're hilarious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to list one more?
Oh yeah, that was it. Okay, yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude.
PTA. So good.
Okay. Oh, sorry. No, you go ahead.
Sorry, did you have something to add to that? I didn't want to.
I was fine. Just go ahead.
So, from the next guy, he had a bit of a dry spell, but he's still an old king.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Schrader, Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, Mishima, which I haven't seen, but I hear it's like amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Last Temptation of Christ really sealed this man's career. No one's thought he was going to return to form, thank you. Mm-hmm. Until he wrote First Reformed.
Yeah.
It might not have gotten the Academy recognition, but many are very passionate about it and say it's like the best film of 2018.
Yes. I did it. I think I told you on the podcast, Brendan met him. I think I told you this.
I think you did, yeah.
Yeah, Brendan actually met Paul Schrader, which is pretty sick.
So cool.
Yes, it is. All right, I got 2 more. Okay. Orson Welles, again, he's more of a director, I think, than writer.
But he's still so
so good, you know. And then my last one, real quick, if I could just say, this is going to be a controversial one. It's going to be very controversial. Charlie Kaufman is an honorable mention and not on my list. Yes.
That's actually really surprising.
I know. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Adaption, John Malkovich, or Being John Malkovich, rather. Mm-hmm. What else did he do? A couple other things,
Lisa.
Yeah. Amazing films.
Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah, thank you. I can never do it. Yeah, dude. Again, he's just he was so close, but someone else beat him, and the person who beat him, you're gonna be like, really? That's the fucking guy.
I can't wait to hear.
That's the guy who beat him.
This one, I kind of regret putting him on here, but like, I kind of don't. Why did he have to do me like this with Sicario 2? Taylor Sheridan, man.
Oh, he's so good.
3 for 4. 3 for 4. Those 3, though, are some of the best thrillers and or westerns in the last 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
I love Taylor Sheridan. And even though his momentum kind of stopped, like, I still have faith in him. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
No, I got you, man. I got you.
So we jumping into the top 5?
Top 5.
You got to go first because I want to know what
who bumped Charlie Kaufman off my number 5 spot.
I kind of care. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
You're gonna think I'm crazy. Lawrence Kasdan.
Okay, keep.
I love Lawrence Kasdan, man. It's just his films are fun. Okay, and I love it. I think Charlie Kaufman's a great writer.
Oh man.
But like I want the fun. I want the adventure, and I think Lawrence Kasdan writes the adventure better than most other people, dude. Raiders of the Lost Ark, freaking Empire Strikes Back, The Big Chill, Silverado, freaking Force Awakens, Mumford, Wyatt Earp. I mean he's made he takes these films, these adventure films, and gives them heart. I had to have the blockbuster writer in there.
No, I completely understand.
And that's the thing. It's like he gives you a sense of fun, and yet he still brings a level of like heart and character to his films. His characters are developed, they're fleshed out, and yet they're still fun.
Okay, that's what I can accept that. Mm-hmm. I like that answer.
Yes.
I thought it was somebody else, but I'm going to hold off on saying who it was because you might still have that person on there. Maybe. And
I mean, the guy who wrote Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, come on. All right.
Yeah. No. I like that.
All right.
I like it.
All right.
My number 5, Ernest Lehman. He was part of that bridging from old black and white golden age Hollywood to the silver age. With some of his films, he practically kept Hollywood from skipping right to the Bronze Age, including his 2 big musicals, West Side Story and The Sound of Music, both keeping a sense of purity. Other hits were the devilishly sexy thriller North by Northwest and the audacious adaptation of Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is one of my favorite movies. Yes. Lehman wasn't particularly concerned with which side of Hollywood he leaned towards. He was only concerned with just writing good screenplays.
Nice. Nice.
I like him.
All right. You know who I like?
Who do you like?
My number 4. The Nolan brothers. Jonathan Nolan and Chris Nolan.
I almost put Jonathan Nolan on there because Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld.
Dude,
yeah.
Westworld.
Yeah, Westworld, and there's also Memento and The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises and Batman Begins. Did you buy Batman Begins? I think they did Batman Begins as well. You know, they always put their fingers through whatever they do. Yeah. They're both great, right? Inception. They're both great. Okay, and they both shine when they're doing projects together. It's kind of weird because they're so different, like their personalities. Like, you know, Jonathan Nolan has an American accent, yet Christopher Nolan has a British accent. And they're like brothers.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So, again, freaking Jonathan Nolan was the mastermind behind Memento. And Memento was a freaking insane, like that is just mind-blowing.
Yeah,
structurally. Yeah, structurally, it's crazy. And the story is also great. So, I love these guys.
Yeah, that's a good, I like that one. Number 4, Aaron Sorkin.
Ooh, that's your number 4?
When has there been a writer prioritizing everything, manipulating structure, concealing and revealing information for the sake of the audience, and wildly entertaining a witty banter? Sorkin has it all. His small filmography for film is mostly genius, and his long-running series, The West Wing, is non-stop perfection. I'm watching that right now. I fucking love it. 22 to 23 episodes a season with a teleplay written by him for 4 seasons. You would think you would get a dud somewhere in there, but he treats everyone like it was his own child. Every single episode. There's an episode that I just watched the other night, and it was actually one of the weaker episodes where Martin Sheen, the president, is playing a game with Sam Seaborn, played by Rob Lowe, and I don't know the actor who plays Toby Ziegler. I feel like I should. And they're playing 2 different games of chess in 2 different rooms. And the way that he goes about the game of chess is he relates their moves to a specific battle. So the 2 of them are thinking, how did this battle end up? How did they resolve it or whatever to beat him in chess? And it's like, that's one of the weaker episodes. And tell me that doesn't sound awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Yes. He's amazing. Aaron Sorkin's so good. And I don't even like baseball, but he made me care about baseball with Moneyball.
That's what, dude.
Steve Jobs, 3 nights of a man's life, just showing everything you need to know about that phase of that man's life. Yep. Wow. Yep. Amazing. One of the best biopics. Like, yeah, he's just really good.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, my next one is it's Richard Linklater.
Ah!
When it comes to slice of life, aka real world films, nobody does it better than this guy. And that's not even to say like that's the only thing he can do. He can branch out and do other things like more screwball comedies like School of Rock. You know what I mean? This guy, but when it comes to like slice of life films like Boyhood, the Before trilogy, he nails it. Everybody Wants Some, Dazed and Confused. He is the master at taking real life and making it poignant. That's the thing. Yeah. I was going to say interesting, but it's not necessarily interesting. It's poignant and meaningful. And he's the best at finding meaning in the mundane.
Yes.
That is where Linklater shines. And that's why I love Linklater so much, is because you know how I feel about coming of age movies. I don't like them because they always go against what they are, or if they do follow what they are, it's boring. But Richard Linklater doesn't do that. He finds a way to find meaning in the mundane lives of real world people.
Yes.
You know? And not only that, but like if you watch a film like A Scanner Darkly, even like it's just a bunch of stories interwoven. That whole thing is just dialogue. So yeah.
Same with Waking Life.
And Waking Life, yeah. So I absolutely love Richard Linklater. He's criminally underrated. First of all, he's up there with he's up there with the greats, and it's sad that people just don't acknowledge him sometimes. Boyhood should have won. Call back.
And
yeah, I mean he's great.
His big theme is that he loves to play with is so relatable, of like the indecisiveness, something that we've probably all gone through when we didn't know what we wanted to do with our future and stuff like that. And that really resonates with me because I'm still kind of like on that same path.
Me too. And he doesn't over exaggerate it. That's what I love about it. No, not at all. He makes it real, but not boring.
It's like a small conversation that happens like on a football field.
Yes, he makes it real, and he doesn't make it pretentious, and that's why I love Richard Linklater.
Great choice. Great choice.
Mm-hmm.
My number 3, Thea von Harbo. Writer to most Fritz Lang films, including Dr. Mabuse. Is it called something else, Dr. Mabuse?
Mabuse? Moreau?
Moreau?
Isn't it? You're talking about the Island of Dr. Moreau or something?
Mabuse.
Oh, I have no idea.
It's like I think it's a trilogy, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Metropolis.
By the way, I don't think Fritz Lang directed The Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah. But I mean, the name sounds.
Yeah,
I can see where you would come from with that.
Yeah.
Metropolis, Destiny, and M. Lang tries his best to eliminate the use of title cards, but big ideas coming from Harbo's head couldn't be said with just pure imagery and body language. The two of them were changing the game through changes to storytelling, detailing vast, vivid worlds, and learning to sympathize with the villain, which is probably the most audacious thing that he's done.
Yeah.
That they've done.
Yeah.
She's really good.
Nice.
Very good.
Nice. All right, my number 2 is going to be very surprising to you. It's going to be very surprising, but just hear me out.
Okay, I'm wondering if this is the one that I thought was number 5.
It's Quentin Tarantino.
Oh, okay.
Is my number 2.
Okay.
I know I'm critical of Tarantino from time to time, but the man is the master of dialogue. Okay, he might not be the master of plot, but here's the thing. When it comes to writing, the biggest thing, in my opinion, is character. I always think character comes before plot. That's my opinion. Because you can have a cool plot, but if you don't give a shit about anybody, who cares?
Fair enough.
You know? So I think when it comes to character, even though his plots may be really thin, and, you know, I think if you have an interesting character, you can make those thin plots shine still. You know, and I think that's what he's done. I think he's great at doing that. He takes these very just standard plots, like Hateful Eight. A bunch of people trapped in a cabin during the winter who hate each other. That's what it is, right? So on paper, it's a very thin plot. Tarantino takes that thin plot and beefs that baby up with amazing character, amazing thought-provoking dialogue. When it's just people in a room or in a warehouse, like Reservoir Dogs,
or in a bar from Death Proof.
Or in a bar from Death Proof. That was the one exception where I was like, I do not care what they're talking about. But
dude, you gotta give it another shot, dude.
I think I just need to watch
funny dialogue.
I need to watch Grindhouse just in general. Like I need to watch both films because I'm making a Grindhouse type film soon.
Sounds like a marathon.
Marathon. All right, double feature. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so he can beef it up with these characters. Like I love it when people are just sitting at a table or in a warehouse like Reservoir Dogs, in a cabin like Hateful Eight. Or sitting at a poker table like in Inglourious Bastards. That's when he shines. Because he makes dialogue interesting. I'm a huge proponent of show, don't tell. For him, I'm like the complete opposite. And for him to make me kind of reverse that rule of mine, which is a very strong rule I hold for films, that's saying something. That just says how good his writing is.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I may not agree with his directing stylistic choices, or like his plots or his pacing or whatever, but his dialogue and his writing is second to none, and you just can't deny.
Yeah, no, yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah.
Great.
And choice. You can feel his passion through his writing too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
His passion comes through. It's not robotic. It's totally real.
I have a question for you though.
Yes.
For show don't tell, did you need the tell? In the specific circumstance of Inglourious Bastards, the bar scene, where like he gave him away, did you need that explanation, or did you know what he was referring to?
No, I see. That's the one thing where I think telling would be sufficient. Yeah. Like that.
Because like they don't do this.
Yeah, they do this.
Yeah. Because they think it's easier.
I was just thinking about that scene today.
They think that's easier.
Yeah.
But it's whatever.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, that's true. That's what it was. So, yeah.
Great scene.
Great scene.
Actually, like, the scenes where it's just kind of, like, isolated, I think those are his best scenes in his movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome choice.
Mm-hmm.
So my number 2, it's not surprising. It's Charlie Kaufman.
Okay, yeah.
Human movies delivered in a cerebral way. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind reminds you what you love so much about a relationship through decaying memory fragments. We talked about this movie before.
Memory fragments?
Ooh, sounds familiar.
What?
Anomalisa is a stop-motion realism film about overcoming loneliness in a lifeless world. And adaptation, on paper, sounds like a generic biopic, but masks that with fictional elements that he brought to the table, like adding his brother, and then it completely changes. Like, so if you thought that you were getting yourself into a biopic, and you thought that the way that this movie ended was the way that it ended in real life, like, do your research.
No,
because he's tricking you, and he's great at it.
I gotta see adaptation.
He's always thinking outside the box, but one thing always connects his films, and it's that they're about us. They're just about people. And I adore him.
Well, he adores you.
I hope so.
Yes. All right, so is it my number 1 time?
It is your number 1.
Ooh, would you like to guess who it is?
Okay, so I'll just tell you who the one, and I was like, I hope it's not that person, and I hope that it's not your number 1. It was George Lucas.
Oh my! Oh, what?
That when you were like, hear me out, I was like, no.
Look, I respect Lucas wholeheartedly. The guy changed the industry forever. You know, with his inventions in sound.
Yeah, but that did not come from his writing, though.
No, but in sound, special effects, and film financing even, the guy has revolutionized the industry. So I love the guy. I think he's a great talent. He created Star Wars, and I love him forever for it. But he is not a good writer. He is, in my opinion, he's a very bad writer.
Yeah, even...
I don't want to say very bad writer, but he's just not. You know what he's great at? Or at least in his earlier career, concepts. Big ideas,
yeah.
He just needed someone like Lawrence Kasdan to come in and hone those ideas down. That's it.
And this might be like controversial, but honestly, I think that it even shows in like the original trilogy for Star Wars. Like the characters are so default, so traditional, like fantasy characters. Like Luke Skywalker pretty much wants to be a knight. That's his storyline. Yeah. That's like what every single fantasy original story wanted to do for its main character or whatever. All of his characters are very default. Yeah. So.
But again, no disrespect to George Lucas.
No, not at all.
We the guy's great, but there are people who have great talents, and he's probably a much better director. Actually, it's pretty much proven he's a good director. I mean, to do like the prequels, that's still a big, to like take technology that has never been done before and utilize that on the big screen. Yeah. Like, he was the first guy to ever shoot digitally. That's crazy. Like, that's huge, right? So he's a great director. I just feel like if he didn't write... It's like a Shyamalan thing. If he didn't write his own stuff, he'd be much better, I think. So, anyway.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. My number 1 is Aaron Sorkin. Come on, bro.
So that's why... I knew... I should have said that because you were like, oh, that's really your number 4?
I thought it was going to be at least your number 2, in all honesty.
Oh, no Charlie Kaufman, man.
Bruh. Moneyball, Social Network, Steve Jobs, Molly's Game, Charlie Wilson's War, fan-freaking-tastic. West Wing. Don't forget West Wing. The Newsroom.
The Newsroom, dude! Mm-hmm. Please tell me you've seen the scene where Jeff... what's his name? I keep thinking Jeff Bridges. Not Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Foxworthy. No. I'm in the newsroom, and you might be a little bitch. I don't know his comedy.
Whoa, dude. Because I'm drawing a blank right now and I suck. The conversation about like America, like the season finale. Oh my god, it was getting shared everywhere.
Yeah, I saw that conversation. I feel like, what's his name? Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels. Yes, thank you. I was just about to.
I do like that monologue. I feel like it kind of peters out at the end though. It's like, we used to reach for the stars and be like, okay, Aaron Sorkin, ballot bag down. Okay. Not to rewrite Aaron Sorkin because whatever, but I mean, come on, we used to reach for this. I'm like, okay, got a little cheesy at the end there, but
oh, dude, I thought that was hot.
Well, you know what it is.
I was getting hot and bothered.
But he's my number 1 favorite writer, so you can't assault me for saying that.
Sure.
Dude, The Social Network. That's all I gotta say. The Social Network.
Social Network is Social Network. And I didn't even include that in like the stuff that I was talking about. But yeah, that's probably
Social
his
Network.
best thing.
It's amazing. I don't even know if I want to elaborate. Just The Social Network.
It's been dissected so many times.
I know. No. Okay, so I'll elaborate a little more. You're right. I mean, the way he structures his dialogue and makes it so fast-paced, he's very fast-paced with his dialogue, and it always catches your interest. You know, there's nothing... Whereas why he's my number one and Quentin Tarantino is not, and Quentin Tarantino is my number two, is because Quentin Tarantino can talk about arbitrary things and make it sound interesting, where I feel like with Aaron Sorkin, he doesn't talk about arbitrary things. He always gets to the point. And that's why it's so fast-paced and super intense, all the time. It's always at 100%. And that's why I love his dialogue. Even if he does talk about arbitrary things here and there, there's always a character motivation behind it. Whereas I feel like Quentin Tarantino can bring up an arbitrary thing and just linger on it, and it adds no substance to anything. It's cool, the way you're talking about it, but it doesn't add anything. And that's just, certain things, not the entire span of his writing. But with Aaron Sorkin, it's all important. And I feel like if you just miss a word of his monologues that he writes, it's boom. It's you're done for. You have to go back and rewatch it just because if you miss one hint, single iota of information, you're going to be lost. And that's a sign of a good writer, in all honesty.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Moneyball, super slow burn but super human story. Steve Jobs, again, kind of such a cool way to structure a biopic, because biopics are so formulaic. For him to come in and break that formula, fantastic. Only Aaron Sorkin can do that.
We need more of that.
Yes.
Way more.
So he's my number.
Yeah, he needs to put out more content.
So Dora, he is my number.
Oh no! Good choice.
Imagine if Aaron Sorkin wrote the Dora movie.
Oh man, I might actually care about it.
Yeah.
Dang. So your boy's gotta. I feel bad that I do this all the time. I always throw out this pretentious name or whatever. But I was about to give it to Charlie Kaufman because I really like his work at a consistent level.
Would I know this person?
Probably not by name.
Ben Height, Ernest Lehman, William Goldman. I'm just looking up writers now.
Ernest Lehman was my number 5. So this is actually a co-writer of a lot of movies. And the only reason that I even considered this was because I had to do some research and stuff like that. Can
I do one more guess?
Yes.
Joseph L. Menkiewicz.
It's not an American. It's
okay.
Shinobu Hashimoto, co-writer for most of Kurosawa's films, Rashomon, Seven Samurai, Ikaru, Throne of Blood. With Hashimoto, he wrote his best stuff. And I guess not his best stuff, but his most diverse work came from him. From his biggest samurai hit to a mystery film about the authenticity of truth, his most emotional and probably the most emotional slice of life film ever made, and a corporate corruption retelling of Hamlet. When he was writing this stuff, he wasn't just writing his big samurai films. He was writing his Hitchcock, the Bad Sleep Well. That's what he was writing, what he was doing, with under his wing, and stuff like that. And this is just it's kind of tragic because Shinobu is a prime example of writers underappreciated and eclipsed by the spotlight of the director.
Damn.
And so I gotta give it to him, dude. He's so good.
Nice, dude. Nice.